Hi and welcome back to my channel. I am Noah Lee. Today I'm going to go over the viral CNN video where for the first time CNN, through its Hong Kong correspondent Ivan Watson, whom I guess traveled to a European country and Norway during these COVID times.
I met him in a European country.
To interview a Uyghur from XinJiang, as well as a policeman from an unknown province in China who escaped his home country. I'm going to cut the CNN video to focus on the questions asked by Ivan Watson, who supposedly is an award-winning journalist. Pay attention to his questions and see if you will agree with me that these questions were reverse engineered to derive a preconceived, conducive answer that CNN wanted to convey to its uninitiated audience.
Did the police officers use electric batons to shock prisoners? Did you have to be the bad cop sometimes? How were the interrogations being conducted? Were the suspects all men? Did you witness women being beaten? How many of the people that you arrested in XinJiang do you think were actually violent extremists? If you didn't carry out the arrests, what would happen to you? If you met one of these prisoners, what would you say to them? Why?
And then I'm going to give my 2 cents. If I were in Ivan's position, myself not an award-winning journalist, nor a journalist of any kind, see if you think my questions would bear more weight and extract more information from this once-in-a-lifetime interview with this policeman. But first off, I'm going to start with a disclaimer that CNN had embedded towards the end of the video, which by most account, a viewer would have already dropped off before reaching.
CNN cannot independently confirm Jiang's allegations, nor those of Abdulwali, the kindergarten teacher.
Because had you heard this from the get-go, perhaps those of you with critical thinking would not even bother about this CNN, I would confidently say, stage interview, whose primary goal is to egg on the audience who are biased towards China from Western media's fabricated nonsense about XinJiang.
For the first time, CNN has interviewed a former member of Chinese security forces who tells CNN he was routinely ordered to arrest and torture Uyghur detainees in truly horrific and barbaric ways. CNN's Ivan Watson brings us these disturbing new revelations. Did we get it?
Of course we got it.
Told you we get it.
Pardon the pun of the scene from Mission Impossible Fallout, where Simon Pegg masqueraded as Wolf Blitzer. But this is exactly a masquerade by CNN. Now let's get back to the reverse engineered questions by Ivan Watson.
Did the police officers use electric batons to shock prisoners?
Yes, everyone uses different methods.
No prizes for guessing the answer here. The policeman obviously said yes. Of course, electric batons were used to shock the prisoners. This is meant to paint a picture for the audience that inhumane acts were being carried out. But instead of stating the obvious in a torture scenario, if I was Ivan Watson here, I'll be asking the policeman, hey, could you point out exactly where these camps are? Apparently, US intelligence weren't able or aren't able to pinpoint them on the satellite. We can't find them. Could you tell us where they are, please?
Did you have to be the bad cop sometimes?
Of course.
How were the interrogations being conducted?
Beat them, kick them, beat them bruised and swollen, knock their heads on the radiator. Police would step on the suspect's face and tell him to confess.
Yes, beat them to a pulp. Not anything new that we haven't seen from Hollywood movies. And I won't even go into the minute details that Zhang, the police officer, provides to input and inject some much needed sexual content to captivate the viewers. But what is the end goal of these lines of questioning Ivan and CNN? What about some real questions like, how did you escape from China? Why are you the only one that feels differently among your comrades? And what's the use of torturing them when the end goal is to have the genocide of the Uyghurs?
Were the suspects all men?
Men and women.
Did you witness women being beaten?
Yes.
This question is so ridiculous that it serves one purpose and one purpose only, which is to let the audience affirm that these atrocities are not only being carried out on the males, but on the weaker sex, the females.
How many of the people that you arrested in Xinjiang do you think were actually violent extremists?
None.
None.
Wow, Jiang the policeman has it figured out. Damn, the entire police force in China is not even the caliber of one Jiang. None. And look at the face of astonishment on Ivan Watson. None. None of the millions of people arrested are extremists, according to Jiang, and yet we have documented evidence of terrorist attacks in XinJiang, which Mr. Watson hasn't breathed a word about.
If you didn't carry out the arrests, what would happen to you?
Objection, Your Honor. Speculative question.
Then I would be arrested as well, because that means I too am a part of a terrorist organization. I become their enemy.
If you met one of these prisoners, what would you say to them?
I'm scared. I would leave immediately.
Why?
Why?
How do I face these people? You'd feel guilty, even if you're just a soldier. You're still responsible for what happened. Yes, you need to execute orders, but so many people did this thing together. We are responsible for this.
The man, who asks to be called Jiang, says he worked more than 10 years as a cop before fleeing China after growing disillusioned with the ruling Communist Party. He wore his police uniform to authenticate his story.
So now we reach the crux of the video, validating the witness. To prove that Jiang is a policeman, he donned his uniform. Else I would have mistaken him for a chef or an accountant. And of course, we all carry photographic memorabilia of our past in A3 black and white printed papers to show to CNN journalists.
To prove that he was a Chinese police officer, Jiang is showing me many photos of different police badges, training certificates, even portraits of his graduating class at police academy, images that we cannot show on television because they would reveal his identity.
So folks, we are supposed to believe people with no name and no face instead of officials with stature telling us otherwise. But most of us are gullible enough to believe this type of mainstream media fabrication. I urge everyone to do your own due diligence, and all you really need is a bit of critical thinking to figure this all out. Thank you for watching. I hope you like this video. If you wish to support my work, you can do so via PayPal. The link is in the description below. Or you can support me via WeChat contributions. You can scan the QR code that's on your screen right now. If you are unable to support me financially, you can help me out by subscribing to my channel. It's free. And share this content with people, as well as give it a thumbs up. Until the next one, this is Noel signing off. Take care. Be smart and always question the narrative.